Hi, everybody. My name's Ellie, and I work at Clean Water Services, where our job is to clean used water that people send down the drain from inside homes and businesses so that it can be reused again. And today we're going to follow the path of water from use inside through drains, the process of cleaning, and then back to the environment to get used again. The average American uses about 80 gallons of water every day. It's a lot of water. And when we turn our sink or our shower on, we have this really nice clean water that we can use in a bunch of different ways, ways that I'm sure you have all done today. One way that you may have used water today is by taking a shower, washing your hair and your body, using soap and shampoo. The water carries all of those things down the drain, and the water from our shower, we can agree, not as clean as when it started. Another way you may have used water today or even last week is by washing your clothes. In the laundry, we put our dirty clothes that have grass and dirt from playing outside. We use heavy duty soap and bleach to get those clothes clean. After the washing machine spins around and all of that water leaves, that water is carrying all of those things away, so not as clean as when it started out. Another thing you might have done is wash your dishes, either in the sink or in the washing machine. So off of our dishes come little bits of food and grease. Again, more soap to get those dishes clean goes down the drain. So the water from the sink or the dishwasher, not as clean as when it started. And my personal favorite, I know you all have gone to the bathroom today, probably several times, and we don't need to go into great detail, but we know the water we flush down the toilet after we've gone to the bathroom and the toilet paper we use to clean ourselves is definitely not very clean. So after we use water inside and it goes down the drain, we often don't think about what happens next, and that's where we come in. Under your house, there are pipes that connect to more pipes underneath the street, and those pipes lead to a treatment facility. Once the water gets to the treatment facility, we start that process of removing all of the things attached to the water so that that water can be used again. We're also able to use some of the things that we recover from the waste stream to make energy and fertilizer. We'll get to that in a second. The first thing that happens once the water gets to the treatment facility is we send it through a screen, and the screen catches all of the biggest things. Wipes, Q-tips, dental floss, those types of things that people might flush down the toilet, those get caught on the screen and the water keeps traveling to the next treatment step. But we've got all this garbage now, this used dental floss and Q-tips and wipes. We have to send those to the landfill, the same place that your garbage goes. So it would be great if you have those things. Please don't flush them down the toilet. Just put it in the trash to start with. Next, the water flows to huge tanks called primary tanks. And here we use gravity to help us clean the water. We stir the water around with a big mechanical arm very, very slowly, and we let anything more dense than water sink to the bottom of the tank, and anything less dense than the water will float to the top. On the top of the water, we end up with grease and oil and soap. In the bottom of the tank, we have little pieces of food, very small rocks, and any human waste that's still in the water is going to sink down to the bottom. Before we move on to the next step with the water, I want to talk about what we do with the grease and oil and some of that human waste that we've removed from the water. Believe it or not, we can make something out of that waste. Through a process where we take solids and we heat them up to about body heat, 98 degrees, and we let that all break down, we kill any of the pathogens, and then we can make a fertilizer product out of that human waste. We can also, through that process of digestion, we make energy, and that energy we use to heat our facility and also provide power for some of the work that we do. Pretty cool. Okay, back to the water. The next thing we do is we send the water into huge tanks called secondary tanks, where we use microscopic organisms to help us clean the water. The natural food of these organisms is more harmful bacteria that could be attached to the water. So they eat them, and by doing that, remove them from the water. In order to help them eat as much as possible, we make sure the water is the perfect temperature, not too hot, not too cold. we add oxygen into the water, and make sure they have plenty of food. If that all happens, these bacteria clean the water to a really, really high clear standard. But we're not quite done. The last thing we do to clean the water is we send it through a filter. And a filter is very common for cleaning water. Filters are in fish tanks. They're on water pitchers that you might have at home. Ours is just bigger because we clean more water. So our filter uses sand, very fine gravel, and a little bit of charcoal to remove any last really, really small particles that could be attached to the water. Then the last thing we do is we add a tiny bit of chlorine, which is a chemical that might kill any last bacteria or pathogens present in the water. And then we also have to remove that chlorine. So we add it, we remove it, and then the water goes to its next destination, which is back to the environment. Most of the water that we clean goes to the Tualatin River, which is near to us, and there it becomes great habitat for the fish and wildlife that live in the river, and it also can be water for people to use further downstream. A little bit of our water also gets used for irrigation on golf courses and school campuses that are next to us. So that is the process of water from your house through our treatment process and back to the environment to be used again.